Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we are doing another cult classic for all of you guys at home called Terror Train that was released in 1980.
It's a nice slasher film, and guess who's in it? Go on, tell them.
Well, there's two pig faces that we are familiar with.
Well, main one.
One, whom is our final girl from Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
And a bigger face in not the film industry, but more the magic industry, is David Copperfield.
Yes.
A famous magician that has been around for quite a long time.
He has.
And still, from what I understand, is still doing the odd magician show, but at the same time running his own hotel empire.
Probably. I don't care.
In the Bahamas.
We're doing a movie. We're not doing David Copperfield's bio, okay?
I'm just giving them a bit bio.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Everyone knows Jamie Lee Curtis's bio very
We
well.
know all about her, yeah, mum and dad, well-known people, and she has been in, Halloween? And other things.
Yeah, and this would be her third slasher-related movie back in those days, but while that one didn't have any sequels, but just a remake or two that came out many, many years later, back probably a year ago that they made, that came out at the same time, they both came out at the same time, I should say. Right, Mike?
Yeah.
Meaning they didn't wait another year to make a sequel and see
Churn and burn, let's go and do it. Yeah.
And see whether it was any good.
Yeah. Someone churn and burn really quick, or do them at the same time, or wait for a couple of years and see what happens. Yeah, who knows?
But maybe the company who sponsored them, they had leftover money, so they felt they had time for a sequel.
Well, you could have a decent rap party.
Who knows? Maybe it was on the train.
On a train. Ooh, a magician. No, we don't go there.
Yeah, anyway.
Okay.
So, let's get into this.
Okay, the usual bits. Oh, Kidoogly. Okay, right. Produced by... Harold Greenberg was the producer.
Right.
Directed by Roger Spottiswoode. Is it Wood? Yeah, sorry, Spottiswoode.
Spottiswoode.
Is it right? I hope it's the right pronunciation. Sorry, Roger. It was written by T.Y. Drake. I don't know what T.Y. stands for. Terribly Young Drake. No, okay.
Maybe it's a nickname.
No, T.Y. Their initials. Some people don't use their first name. Mm-hmm. Okay. As Sarah said, we've got some nice actors, but I'll go down to the budget and the cost and everything. It cost about $3.5 million to make, and it made about $8 million at the box office. So it was a moderate success, and obviously it's hit the home media and TV syndication. So the production company did get its money back. The studios were happy, and whatever. Now, actors. Aha. Right. I'll stick to this couple at the top. Ben Johnson plays a guy called Crane. Kane, sorry. Khan. No, Khan. Khan. He's the, what's the movie?
He's the train conductor, I think, or train security. C-A-R-N-E. Jamie Lee Curtis plays Alana Maxwell. Hart Brockner plays Doc. He's a rich kid with an attitude problem. Who likes pranking on people.
Yeah, and doesn't care about anybody. Sandy Curry plays Mitzi. She's got a short roles movie.
Yeah, she gets killed off.
Timothy Webber plays Mo. That is Jamie's boyfriend.
It's so weird. Whenever they do a movie like this, they make the lead final girl look not really over the top pretty, but
very disguised person.
The other one, like Mitchie, is a beautiful blonde of sorts,
very nice.
You never think anything bad will happen to her, but you do.
Yeah, here we go. Derek MacKinnon plays Kenny Hampson. Anthony Sherwood plays Jackson. I must do the rest of them. Joy Bushell plays Pat. Vanity as Mary. Credited as D.G. Winters. Okay, so D.D. Winters.
And, of course, David Copperfield plays himself as a magician.
I haven't done the other ones
I'm
yet.
just saying.
Greg Swanson plays class president. Howard Busgang plays Ed, and David Copperfield plays the magician.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Except for 5 people, the rest are just extras.
Well, David Copperfield, Khan, the
Khan
conductor.
is the conductor.
Jamie Lee and and Doc, Mitzi and Mo to a lesser degree because they drop off the planet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, that's the people we focus on in this production.
Yeah.
The rest are just hovers.
Well, they're passengers on the train.
Yeah, and they're not cannon fodder, like Mike would put it.
Well, you need a crowd scene on a train. You can't go there by yourself.
Yeah, well, you
otherwise
heard the
it's
expression,
stupid,
Mike, about
Safety
what
numbers?
a better way to commit a murder in a crowd, because it's noisy, loud. There is a lot of drinking, drugging, and whatnot.
Stuff.
And no one will pay attention to what was happening before them unless it's pointed out to them. Unfortunately, ever so often when we do see something that happens, they put it up as it's just a prank, yada yada, bull, blah 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 blah. The usual crap. Anyway, it's one of those types of ones where there's a lot of pranking, a lot of things that you miss, and of course, when the actual disaster happens, the people are in the dark.
And there's a few red herrings thrown in to make it interesting. Say, oh, I think it's that person. Oh no, I can't be that person.
Yeah.
They just died.
Yeah, it's just like the Orient Express, when you keep suspecting a suspect and you don't know until someone gets killed.
Anyway, do you want to get into?
Yes, might as well. So the story begins at a theta in a university somewhere in America, I think, where a bunch of frat guys who wanted to get some pledges and start to prank on a few of them. And one of them is a young man named Kenny, whom they want to make this really awesome prank with a cadaver of what?
Yeah, they line him up and say, hey, we've got this girl lined up for you to have sex with her.
Yeah.
And he has got no idea.
Yeah. I don't think... this is Alana...
Whatever, yeah.
Who's Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and she is a nice girl, and I think she's in the dark about what's happening.
Didn't know. She thought it was a rubber lady, an inflatable girl.
Yeah, one of those inflatable sex dolls, the usual stuff. But anyway, she goes into the room where Kenny was going to come in to
she's sitting behind some furniture and going, hello, how are you? Come over here. That sort of stuff, enticing him.
Kiss him. And when he approaches the body, he kisses it, and then
he realizes.
And then these guys appear, and then they start laughing, and the guy freaks the F out.
He realizes that he's kissing a corpse,
and he freaks out. He does a bit of a dance.
Oh, he's panicking, and he gets wrapped up in. They had it was like a 4-poster bed that had the netting and stuff. He gets wrapped up in it, and he's going off his brain. The guy totally cracks.
Everyone else is just laughing and stuff like that. Then we cross to 3 years later, I think, or 1 year later, I think.
3 years.
3 years later, and these guys are going to celebrate the New Year by going on a train.
I think it was the end of their schooling as well. They finished their final year. And it was like a celebration, putting it all behind them, and we're going to go out in the real world now and make careers for ourselves, and we're going to put our university time behind us.
They're all dressed up. It's like, instead of thinking it's Halloween...
It looked like Halloween, because they're all dressed up in costumes and everything,
Instead of just wearing nice clothing.
They had a fancy dress party on a choo-choo.
Yeah, of course.
And there was a choo-choo back in that. It was a steam train.
Yeah. Anyway, so as they're getting on it, of course, Alan's character, she's still not. She hates the fact that Doc, that's the guy who pulled the prank in the first place, that he is organised the whole event, and she's annoyed that she's being dragged into another one of his party plans and stuff. She doesn't like him, and she even informs her boyfriend, Mo, that she does not like him. And I guess she wanted to split with those people because she didn't like.
But her boyfriend was Mo, and Mo hung out with dogs, so she was just blah blah blah. I would have left. Yeah,
me too. Of course, by the time they're all on the train, and that particular bit of detail is let loose, she has no choice but to go with the flow like everyone else. We actually see the magician, and he is a very attractive fella.
Yeah, I must admit, David Copperfield was he's probably still is a good-looking man, but when he was a young guy, he wasn't bad-looking. Yeah,
I gotta admit, he does look great-looking.
So obviously, he made a comment that he wasn't an actor. Even on stage doing a magic act, you're acting. You're working the audience, so yeah.
Anyway, he's kind of doesn't like the fact he's doing this for a bunch of college students, but his assistant reminds him, this beats
it's money.
Children's parties.
It does, yes. Yeah. We had a children's party recently.
True.
The kiddies just love the magician.
Anyway, this is a step up with his magic game, obviously. So he does some interesting stuff. I should mention, Mike, when someone told me on another movie review, told me that he actually did some really magic tricks, in front of the camera and in front of the actors. And it was probably real applause and comments about his magician act stuff.
Keep it real.
Keep it real, keep it believable. So,
how the hell did he do that?
Of course, he puts the moves on our leading lady, obviously.
Alana.
Yeah. While all this is happening, the magic behind this stuff, a lot of things start happening. Like a mysterious person comes on board and kills one of the party goers and steals his outfit.
Now, we'll also step back here. When they're actually getting on the train, he killed one of the guys and stole his costume. Now, obviously, if anyone's got a mask on and clothing on, they saw him walking around and thought it was the other guy, so he blended in quite nicely, didn't he?
Mike, tell me, what's the costume in question?
Now, I'll tell you this because when they made this movie in 1980, it was a Groucho Marx costume with a face mask and the clothing or whatever. When they did a remake of it so many years later, they just put an evil clown's head on it because a lot of people forgot who Groucho Marx was. The younger generation would, who the hell's that? So yeah, but it's a bit of a tribute to Groucho. I love Groucho, yeah.
Anyway, so the first mask is a Groucho mask, and you may see it on the posters and
yeah, that's a Groucho
DVDs.
Marx mask. Yeah.
So you know what it's all about.
Yeah.
So the next one, one of the people he kills was a stoner who's wearing a lizard mask, I think it was. And he steals the mask and he kills him in the bathroom. Of course, when this happens, the conductor guy, he finds the body and he opens the door thinking that these guys...
Using the pass key.
And he sort of encountered a few little pranks. Of course, at this point, I think he knows this is not a prank.
And we have a dead body on the ground here or something, or someone bleeding severely.
Yeah. Yes. So... Anyway, soon enough, one of the girls encounters the lizard guy, and she gets killed off too. Of course, this is where Alana starts wandering around, and her boyfriend starts fooling around with another girl when she's not in the mood for kissing or whatnot. But then again, in these movies, Jamie Lee Curtis's character does not go the distance in these movies. Would you say, Mike?
Would it?
She does not go the distance. Like, she doesn't go.
She's a good girl, you mean?
Yes. She's supposed to be the straight person.
The nice one. Yes.
I mean, the normal person who just doesn't want to get drunk or high or just wants to be the serious person. Anyway, so she starts looking for a friend, and then I guess she just got stumbles across her body, and I think at one point she may have thought there was another prank by my doc, but it's not. It turns out to be a dead body, and the conductor knows this, and he knows that there's a kill on the train. So you guys know, the Mo character and guy, he gets killed off too. While there's a magic act going on, everyone's eyes are on the magician, but when they turn back, you see that his throat's been cut.
Yeah. Bugger. That's a good trick, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Anyway, his friend Doc freaks out, and everyone around him thinks, "Oh, just shut up. This is just another prank. Blah, 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 blah. Who cares about you?"
Bugger.
And he runs throughout the carts, the train carts, and he soon runs into Alana and shows her dead boyfriend's body, and she freaks out and cries over his body. And of course, we cannot do anything about it because a throat slit means he's a goner. Well, maybe not technically. Unless the person doesn't know what he's doing, then we have a problem. We don't have a problem. Anyway, so we're left. They decide to stop the train, and the conductor goes to the end of and he notices I think the conductor is either disappeared or something like that. We only see his hat, and he stops the train. He tries to use the bell that allows you to stop the train, using stuff like that. But it's not working, so he had to go all the way to the other end to stop it, of course.
Yeah.
And then he orders every one of the passengers to get off the train, and tell them to remove their masks and stay together.
And get everyone to look at each other, make sure they recognise everyone, just in case they got someone on there who shouldn't be there.
Yeah, he does tell them the truth that there is someone that's killing people on the train, and everyone should stay together in one of the carts, obviously. So, anyway, Jamie and the character and Docs, they actually head back inside into the private VIP cart.
Yeah, the VIP cart.
And he actually kind of locks, or not really, he locks the doors, but he actually breaks off the knockers.
The knobs, not
the
knockers.
The knobs. Avoiding anyone to open it, but from the inside, which is kind of odd.
He's an idiot. Anyone on the outside can still get in.
Yeah.
He's a dickhead. He's Doc by name, dickhead by nature.
But he's freaking out. He's lost his friend and lost his girlfriend too, and he's just freaking out. And anyway, soon enough, she finds a yearbook, and we find there is a photo of Kenny, and there is information that Kenny was interested in magic.
And I start thinking, oh, wait.
It could be the magician. It could be David Copperfield.
Now, this is the part that gets me.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
Okay.
Cute.
Okay. They knew Kenny.
Okay.
And they saw the magician. He doesn't look like Kenny.
No, he's practically has different features.
He has totally different features, yeah. So unless he had plastic surgery or got a really, 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 really good mask on, it ain't going to happen. But anyway.
Anyway, our female lead heads out of the private cart and heads off. And of course, the Doc remains there. And as he kind of inspects the room, because I think now that because there is too many places for a person to hide in that room, because they came in there, there might be a few likely places to hide. There's like cupboards. There is the special thing that can you move, you kind of open up your bed.
Yeah, you got to get you some of a fold-up bed. Yeah.
And there's the thing underneath the couch.
For storage and stuff.
For storage. And stuff like that. Eventually, the stalker, he eventually appears and he kills him, obviously. And this is where our leading lady comes across the conductor and explains the situation and tells him that she suspects who the person might be. So they head into the VIP thing, and we see Doc dead, obviously. Yep. Now we realize that she's our last remaining final girl, obviously, and the conductor decides to put her in her cabin and have a guard cabin carriage.
Whatever.
I mean, this is one of those Orient Express type of ones.
With the compartments.
Yeah. So she goes into her compartment, and a guard is standing outside her thingy. Even though Mike and I both agree that she should have been inside with her.
Inside. Make sure no one came in, not make sure no one is coming up to the door and accosting everybody. But now I would have sat inside the door, locked it from the inside, and got my rosary beads out and started praying like hell.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
So,
very good.
quite right.
Yeah.
Anyway, soon enough, as she's lying asleep and stuff like that, of course, the conductor, I think he's looking for, he's actually placed all the people into a separate cart while he actually investigates.
Yeah, they do a sweep with the train to see if anyone is hiding anywhere.
But they cannot find the magician anywhere. So
and
anyway,
they think he might be suspicious
Yeah.
by his absence.
then our mysterious stalker killer guy, he actually kills the guard who was guarding the leading lady,
yeah.
Alana, and heads inside to her cabin, and he's about to kill her, but actually it's a fake out, obviously, and she knocks him over and runs out of there. Of course, all the time he's pursuing her, obviously.
Pursue.
Of course,
Run.
luckily enough, she was able to push him out of the carriage. I mean, out of off the train for a bit. Of course, he's clinging to the train for life.
Didn't actually fall all the way down. He grabbed a handle off on the outside of the train.
And then we think that's the end of him, but then we find out as Alana is perusing the magician's area, she finds another bit of information. We see that a photo of the magician, thing, right?
Yeah.
And there she also finds his dead body stuffed inside one of those.
Well, we think it's a dead body. He's covered in blood and stuff. There's a sword hanging out of him, but we think he's dead. But he's not moving much. Man.
She then heads to where the conductor is, because he's arriving the train now because the driver's gone.
Yeah, the engineer's disappeared.
So,
and the shoveler.
Yeah.
The fireman, whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, she goes to the front, and there she. Well, is it the front? Oh, who cares? And she runs into one of the conductor guys, and she at first she thinks it's someone we're familiar with, but it turns out to be none other than Kenny, and he starts saying he's better than that magician guy. I know, I've seen you all night watching him and all that stuff.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. The usual stuff. And he keeps asking Elena to kiss him. And then we get a flashback to the night of the prank in the opening, obviously. And when she does kiss him, he starts freaking out like he did back in the day. And then the conductor...
He's reliving it.
Yeah, the conductor comes out, and he eventually, using the shovel, hits Kenny once or twice, and eventually Kenny's body is thrown out of the cart, and he lands right into a frozen pond or a frozen lake, and his body is lifeless.
Was it a creek or stream or something?
Stream.
Whatever,
His body's lifeless, meaning he's probably dead.
And he's floating down the creek,
And his body's floating down the creek. The train continues zooming across
but
the
Kenny had a great
area.
disguise. He was dressed up as a female. Who would have picked it?
Yeah, see, he turns out he's not the magician. He's the magician's assistant.
Yeah, dressed up as a nice-looking blonde.
Dressed as drag.
Yeah, dressed in drag. And he wasn't bad-looking either. So,
Yeah, but of course, I think that they... in the movie, obviously, they used a real woman, and when they did the actual big reveal, they actually got him to wear a wig, and and that's it. So you guys know the story.
Yeah,
so let's go into what.
Anyway,
this Mike.
But right then, didn't they end up going to get into the train station? They got dragged away in the ambulance. We saw the magician was being taken away, so he wasn't actually dead. Yeah. So, but it says here in my notes, they found him dead in a box. He wasn't dead. He comes back in the sequel.
Well, that's the remake, Mike.
Well, no, did he come back?
No.
When they came back a year later, remember?
Yeah.
In that other movie, it had a magician was there and he was still alive in that one there.
The remake.
Not the remake, the one after the remake. Number 2?
Sequel, to the remake.
Yeah, but he wasn't actually... So he might have been dead in this one, but I don't think he was taken away in the ambulance in this one.
No, he's not.
He wasn't?
He was crushed into a box. That doesn't make sense if he's just... He's not, and he's bleeding from different areas. He wouldn't be.
You can bleed out, and you can be lifelong.
Mike, just because it's this is different. This is a different movie. The remake went for a different direction, making out the magician didn't survive in that remake. Do not confuse the audience. Just because it's in this does not mean it was nowhere else.
They copied the movie, so
yes, they copied bits of the movie, not all of it.
It's almost the same bloody
They
dialogue.
changed things like they tried to include social media in the remakes, stuff like that,
They make more,
to make it look more modern and
Anyway,
stuff like that.
okay.
Just because they do that does not mean they copied every single stuff about it. They may have changed. They even changed the stuff, the big reveal of the killer in that one.
Okay. Right. Interesting. I got some notes here I was reading through. When they're actually getting the idea together, the production, the conception of it, in the original idea, there was no stage show magician in the original script.
Really? That's an interesting.
But they thought the producer Howard was a fan of magic tricks and illusions, so he brought that character into the script.
I think that's a good approach because a mysterious person and an unknown person.
You can't just have a bunch of kids running around, we'll go dance to the band and that's about it. So having an extra bit in there made it a bit more interesting. Is he the culprit? Who ordered the magician? Where did the magician's assistant come from? An extra couple of bods on the train.
Yeah, see, in this movie, they didn't know who hired the magician. It could have been one of, according to the story, it was Mo who hired the magician, supposedly.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Doc, because Doc doesn't seem to care about magic.
I didn't know it was Mo or the president.
And I don't think he liked it too much. In both this one and the remake, I think both versions, that the male students didn't like the fact he was really always getting the girls, in the mood, getting their motive runners, right, roaming.
Okay, it's interesting.
Well, okay.
I'm going to say, the producer sought Jamie Lee Curtis for the lead role as Alana Maxwell, based on her performance in the successful Halloween release 2 years prior.
Well, it was.
Wait a minute. Curtis was also signed on to star in Paul Lynch's Prom Night, which she filmed in Toronto 2 months before the production of Terror Train. She was a busy little girl back in those days. Well,
I guess it's okay to do it more than once. I'm glad that she, as an actress, she didn't just do those types of roles all her life or all the time. I mean, it was nice that she also included other movies, including Freaky Friday.
Here's something. The veteran actor, the old fella who played Khan, his name was Ben Johnson. He was an old actor. He found it was rather amusing to be in a horror film surrounded by all these young people, because obviously you feel like a grandfather almost, and that's how I feel sometimes.
He seemed like a very nice man.
He's a nice man, yeah.
In this movie,
whatever, blah 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 blah. Set constructions, whatever. It was actually done on real train carriages.
Wow.
They actually hired the train carriages and the train front, and they painted a new number on the train, so it wouldn't identify it as a real train, belonging to the crowd. And they did all the Art Deco stuff inside not Art Deco, the weird painting of the inside of the carriages. And after the film shoot, they had to redo all the things and re-bring them back to the way they were before.
That must have cost them a pretty penny.
A few bucks, but not a lot. But say a bit of slap of paint and stuff,
Yeah, I suppose.
Some bit of slap paint, clean up the blood,
Remember in the remake sequel where they said they slapped on a bunch of paint and clean up the blood, blah, blah.
That's it, here it is. To create the train for the film, the producers leased an actual Canadian Pacific Railway locomotive from the Steamtown Foundation in Bellows Falls, Vermont.
Cool.
The train's engine was renumbered from the original 1293 to 1881, and along with 5 passenger cars. So the whole train, the 5 cars, was decked up to be the magician's area and the dining car, and they painted it and decorated it, and along with 5 passenger cars, they were painted black with silver stripes. Afterwards, the Steamtown Foundation reverted the engine back to its original number and had it restored, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and they repainted the carriages and stuff. And yeah, so interesting.
Yes.
Now, it's good.
Can we look at reception?
Wait a minute. The shoot began November the 21st, 1979, and was completed on December the 23rd. Which is about a 1 month shoot. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah, good. I like quick shoots. It keeps the energy up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could get everything completed in mind here and there, but it's difficult when you have so much scenes here and there that you must get all done. Yeah. Anyway, so can we look at reception, please?
I'm going into that now as we speak. Guess what?
Okay, that's interesting.
Excuse me. It's a love-hate sort of thing here. Okay, Variety deemed the film competent.
What's competent?
Competent. Yeah, it was well put together. Yeah, it wasn't a killer, wasn't great, wasn't bad. Yeah, in a mildly positive review. So yeah,
sounds like a very weird word.
Luke was saying, "I was okay. It's passable." Okay.
Okay.
Now wait a minute. Roger Ebert gave the film 1 star out of 4. Wait a minute. He has a couple of good points here. The classic horror films of the 1930s appealed to the intelligence of the audiences, okay? To their sense of humour and irony. All right? Okay, remember the old movies? Okay, mate. Now, movies like Terror Train and all of its sordid predecessors and its rip-offs still to come just don't care. No, they're a series of sensations strung together on a plot. Any plot will do. Just don't forget the knife and the girl and the blood. However, he conceded that it's not a rock bottom budget schlock exploitation film. So he's saying, well, yeah, it wasn't that really bad, but he didn't like it. Now, he did bring up a couple of pet hates that I don't like. I do not like formula movies, and he's hinting to that. So you grab that, put it in there, put a couple of shocky things in there, along with a basic storyline, and you got a film. But sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. I think it works in this because it's far enough away from other movies to make it interesting.
Right.
Okay, so Roger, yeah, I do agree with part of what he said. Okay, now, okay.
Well, I guess I can understand, considering that there was a lot of slashes coming out by 1980s.
Yeah,
I'll give you a list, guys. Here, I wrote
I'll just have a rest for a minute.
few for you guys. Yeah. There is, well, let me see here. There is The Fog, that was John Carpenter's work, his baby. The Burning, that was in 1981.
Yeah.
And let me see, My Bloody Valentine, that was in 1981 too. So there was probably a lot of horror-related movies coming out at that time.
Maybe they're getting a bit sort of stale with the ideas.
I don't know when Friday the 13th came out. I think it probably would have came out right around there somewhere. I think that was probably why Roger was.
But I don't think Roger Ebert likes these sorts of movies to start with. But
not everyone likes it.
But from a creative perspective, I can see where he's coming from.
But again, it's interesting because even though in other movies that back in then, those days, they often dealt with, school bullying, and the person comes back to seek revenge against those people, and it becomes even though a well-seeked type of movie where you keep wondering, is it the person who's seeking revenge, or is this another person we don't know about? But it's a movie that gives you a lot to think about.
But the earlier movies he's alluding to here is, if you get the old movies like your Frankenstein, Draculas, and other horror movies back in those days and back in the 30s, they had a drama with and horrific theme, okay? And he's just saying this here, it's like a loose story with a lot of scares in it.
Well,
pretty much. And it does come off that way in a lot of movies. It's a basic storyline and using the same jump scares. Yeah. Oh, we've got somebody jumping out of that corner over there, blah, blah, blah. And it becomes a bit of a formula. I'm not knocking this movie for that, but I can see where Roger was coming from. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in the remakes, I often thought, I like the fact that they were using, I don't know much about what the special effects side was, but I kind of think that they were using a similar, similar ones they probably would have used in those days where you make the gore realistic or look using special effects makeup and stuff, and adds a bit of adds an interesting approach to the story. Anyway, I won't talk any more about the remake. We'll leave that to another time.
You wanted me to do a couple of review people here, and I'm going to get into some of the better ones now.
Go on, get us the good ones.
A review in the Los Angeles Times praised the film's atmosphere and characterised it as stylish,
sweet,
scary,
cool,
fun.
Awesome.
Richard Corliss of Time magazine also praised the film's style, calling it sleek and eerie.
Ooh.
Bill Kelly of Fort Lauderdale News was critical of the film's lapses in logic and cliches, but ultimately deemed it a respectable, if that's a word, exploitation movie. That just means using the same sort of crap and
nudity and violence.
Exploitation and just using the crap. Yeah, and so he's saying it was well done. Despite that. Jackie Tully of the Arizona Daily Star wrote a similarly favourable review of the film, praising it for its pacing, setting, performances, and Copperfield's magic tricks.
Sweet.
Writing for the Statesman Journal, Ron Cowan commented on the cinematography and noted that although the film stars fairly clumsily, I don't know what it means, it does manage some gripping moments towards the last. So maybe he wasn't happy with the way the story was going, but it got better towards the end. Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Maybe.
So
it was good. A good spin on the end. We like spins.
Whilst I can't, I do think having a spin in a movie can be benefiting. Go on, Mike.
Yeah. There's a few more things, a couple of good ones and bad ones, but you get the idea. But majority of them thought it was okay to good. None of them say, oh, it's great, but yeah, it's pretty good. And now here we go. My favourite. Rotten Tomatoes. It got a 40% approval rating. Based on 15 reviews. Come on. Yeah, you can't get a good gauge. Yeah. Anyway, it went to home media, VHS, obviously. If you go looking for it nowadays, Blu-ray copies and stuff, and there's anniversary copies and collector's editions. It's holding its own still. And when you think about it, if it was a crappy movie, they wouldn't be pumping it out still. Exactly so. Because
if people liked it for its gore and its exploitation stuffy whatever.
Well, exploitation. They use something and they use it to. Okay, let's say. You know how Negroes will make a movie and they put Negro themes that some people call it black. The black version of exploitation. The black whatever there's a word for it. Blaxploitation, whatever. It's got a word. I can't say it. Anyway, and they say, "Oh, we're going to use that as a theme to drive the movie." Yes, that sort of stuff. So and if you had a bunch of something else happening, and they focused on that they use that to drive the movie more so than the actual storyline.
Anyway, it also has produced a lot of merchandise, I guess.
Oh, there's probably cups, posters, T-shirts. Yeah.
And I imagine a few good masks. Like if you probably maybe not the lizard mask, but maybe the that particular mask that we
That naughty clown mask in the second...
well, not the naughty clown mask. I meant the one that's in this movie, Mike.
The Groucho Marx one?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's still around, though.
Maybe, but it might be out there because it's still part of the cult.
Might be, but
like Halloween and Friday the 13th masks. They're still being sold for Halloween and stuff like that.
We don't get Halloween over here like you do in America and stuff. So we don't have any costume stores such as that, so we don't know. So. Anyway, a remake of Terror Train set on Halloween as a change was produced by Tubby and Canadian film company Incendo Productions as a Canadian production. They released in 2022.
Yeah.
And there was a sequel, same year, also released on Tubby. But the first one I think you can actually get, maybe not on Tubby. It might be a torrent.
I think that both the remakes and the old original one are all on Tubby.
Oh, okay.
I actually went. Someone told me to check out Tubby recently, and so I went on there just to check out the
Tubby, whatever it is, yeah.
The remakes. Obviously, of course, I won't talk about the remakes now because they have a few good twists and turns, and they're different from
actually, the remake was good because it did actually twist it just a little bit different at the end.
Yeah,
and I won't say what because we might review.
And it takes place in a modern day setting with modern day technology, and
more
stuff like
social. What do you call it? Social media and stuff and everything.
Yeah, like a lot of most these days, people often keep relying too much on taking selfies and doing video vlogs and trying to upload it onto YouTube and Facebook because they want to.
Well, they have to bring modern stuff into it. So
yeah. Anyway, I remember it's a good watch, and I can't wait. I'll review that one next time, obviously, because we're going to do this in a sense of order. So we'll probably next time on our podcast review that one, and then we can discuss the why they used the clown mask instead of the
probably. Anyway,
more.
Now.
I mean, I think the clown mask was make it a little more sense. As Mike said, this Groucho Marx guy, not many kids nowadays will remember him. And even if you bring it up in conversation and say, "Hi, I'm Groucho Marx," who?
Yeah. But everyone knows who a clown is.
Yeah, creepy clown. Everyone.
Stephen King bought it. No.
Even these days, every time I go for Halloween parties and stuff like that, that particular costume keeps popping up. Not that particular mask I meant. Like, there is a lot of creepy clown masks on sale in your shops during Halloween.
Clowns are creepy.
And that's usually the most sold out costume sometimes. Or not really sold out. They just sell them there every so often. Yeah,
so you put a kill in a clown suit, no one knows. Yeah.
I mean, I also came up with when I was trying to brainstorm ideas for my slasher killer in my prom queen thing. I was trying to figure out what would be the best type of mask thing. Unless I didn't want to go for a mask approach, I would just do it like people would normally do it, like keep people guessing who the identity is. You don't have to see their face. Keep the audience at bay. As a lot of people have told me in the past, you have to be in the audience's shoes and try to see it from their perspective.
Yes.
And watching these movies gives me a bit of a broad idea of how you could tell a story. And in some of these movies, when a person notices someone about to kill them, they say, "Oh, I didn't see you there. We know each other." Yada yada yada, stuff like that.
What are you doing
here? And then they take out a knife and then they kill you for your mask. And
but you don't see who they are, do you?
Yes. It's always a little bit like Michael Myers, from a POV shot at the beginning of the
see a body, someone walking around, but you don't see.
A POV shot is always good. I mean, Mike was telling me a bit about a movie about a monster in a movie that
it came from outer space. You do see the creature occasionally, but most of the shots are you see something like a snail trail on the ground where it's been, and then you see a POV. From the creature's perspective, it's like a big eye, and it's translucent. You're seeing through the eye, and the people are reacting straight to the camera. Occasionally, but 2 or 3 times during the film, you actually see the creature, but it's probably a little model in the corner or something rather than that sort of stuff. But well done. And you're going, wow, there's a creepy looking creature there, and the rest of it's inside your imagination.
Yeah, and the other movie where we did No Escape Room, where we didn't see the creature, we just assume it's following them. Yeah, giving the atmosphere and the music, and
they're not out.
And we keep us guessing.
They didn't get out. They didn't escape, did they?
Anyway, so let's rate this now because I don't have anything else to add.
I'm going to give. I think it's not perfect.
I don't think it's perfect either, but it's okay.
To me, from my perspective, a couple little bit of weak points when I go into it. I'm going to give it about 8.5.
I'm going to give it 9.5 out of 10 myself. I think it's pretty cool. I like the gore. I liked it back then. It was still, it was
still fun.
It was still mostly experimenting back then.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time people would often make fake prop heads, and not all of them always looked 100% real.
And nowadays, as the head looks so good, I want one to replace my head.
I just think that even though people think, even the special effects guys, they say, oh, it's not really perfect, but as long as it looks like a gross decapitated head that's not perfect.
Yeah,
like,
but if it looks fake, it looks fake. You know?
So, as long as it looks like them, then that's fine.
See, if back then, all I had to do in the old days is actually just do a plaster cast of someone's head. You did when you were in art class years ago. You put your face on it and whatever. And you do that, you make a mould, and then you sort of paint it up and spray painting a bit of latex on it, whatever, and it makes it look like a real head.
Right.
It's not that hard. Anyway.
Often enough, a lot of times people use special effects. They probably used their actual head and still framed it into the shot.
Can do, yeah.
You know, like just take a photo of their head, and then you do a bit of a green screen around the head, and then just cut around the head, the neck area, and make it look like it's got blood on it.
Where do you get it? I'm glad you asked, guys. Now, eBay, there are plenty for sale, new and used. Like I said, there's Blu-ray out there as well if you want to have a go. I would actually buy it, this one. Amazon, yes, you can rent it, and you can also buy it. Now, be careful here. It's an old one. Be careful. I know it says VHS copies out there. There might be some Laserdisc rolling around. I even saw a beta one there. So be careful when you're buying to get the right one. Otherwise, you won't be able to play the damn thing, okay? Now, what I was going to say is, so if eBay, Amazon have got it, you probably find it in some other suppliers as well, but they're the main ones to look at because I use them. What else can I say about it? Look, I reckon it's a good watch, and if you're a bit of a collector of films,
or even a collector of Jamie Lee Curtis's films too,
whatever. I reckon this original movie, 1980 version of Terror Train, is a good addition to a collection. Okay. But you might want to try before you buy. So get going. It may even be on YouTube. I don't know. I never check YouTube.
Well, you can check it out on Tubby, obviously.
Tubby,
and I'll be sure to put a link at the bottom of the page so you guys can actually access it and actually get your thoughts on it.
But if you want to buy it or rent it through Amazon and get maybe. Tubby's good, or Tubi. Is it Tubby or Tubi? I don't know. Whatever it's called.
Tubi.
But it could be Tubby or Tubi. Like Tube, like YouTube. Yeah. So I don't. What I was going to say is, I know the quality. I think quality was pretty good.
The quality was beautiful.
But it's got adverts in it.
Yeah.
Every 10 or 15 minutes you got an advert break. And I hate adverts.
Yeah, unlike YouTube, which has 2 ads, this one has
every 10
about
to 15 minutes.
4 or 5 ads, depending on the minutes or on seconds.
And it's going really good. All of a sudden, it's break for commercial.
I mean, and it's annoying because I always keep turning the volume down because I'm not interested.
We don't want to hear about Sprite or something else. Or,
And when we finally get to the movie, I probably miss a word or two, from the scene.
But anyway, irrespective, you have a look on Tubi, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And if you want to get your own copy, by all means, it's out there if you want to get one.
It would have been cool if in this movie if everyone was fair game, being cannon slaughter type. But it seems like the killer in this movie was more focused on the people who did him wrong.
Yeah, I think it was more of a vengeance killing than a psychopath.
Yeah.
The guy was not wired properly, obviously.
Although he did kill the train driver and another train conductor.
He got the he took out the engineer and the fireman at the front. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, I do not know. What was he? Maybe they caught him and saw him, so he had to get rid of them. Otherwise, he would have. They would have thwarted his plans, maybe. Don't know. But most of the other people he killed were people who got in his way and the people he wanted to kill. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So that's what I reckon. So it's mainly a vengeance killing, not a thrill kill.
Yeah, it's true. So, and the magician, obviously, because I think he was jealous of the attention that Alana was getting from the magician.
Yes.
Because the magician was putting the moves on her.
Getting away.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. Yeah. Anyway, irrespective. Good movie, good watch. It's really weird to say. Had a Halloween feel to it, but it was New Year's Eve. So,
and in the remake one, they kind of improved this by saying it's a Halloween party instead.
Yeah, they moved it to Halloween.
Yeah, which kind of makes it more believable because we often do the New Year thingy, but we never dress up. We just pretty much
we used to use that. A lot of people don't do masquerade parties that much anymore.
Yeah. There are some laws in America that don't permit it unless it's on Halloween, mostly.
What's that?
Oh, in some parts of America, they don't permit people wearing masks, even streets.
They don't have people walking around the streets with masks on because you could be a criminal.
You could be arrested.
I'm talking about house parties.
I know.
If you go to a house party, put your mask on when you walk in the door. That's not quite the same thing as walking down the street with a mask on. We here in Australia, you cannot go into a shop or a service station to get some fuel or anything and have your hoodie on or have your motorbike helmet on. You've got to take it off.
Yeah.
Or take your hoodie down so people can see your face. You're on CCTV.
They want to make sure that whoever is...
That's fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, so I do like this movie. I think that the masks they use in question is very good. I like the Groucho Marx one because it's not really a known type of mask, just like the William Shatner converted Michael Myers mask.
For Halloween.
It's incredible. And the same I could say for the hockey mask for Jason Voorhees.
Actually, the first movie had a Haitian bag, wasn't it?
A sack over his head with a hole in it.
Yeah, but after he found the hockey mask in the movie, wasn't it?
It was an improvement, in my opinion.
And you can paint it if you like, and you can smoke through it. You put a cigarette through one of the holes, and
that's would probably be what the
put a straw, have a Coke,
Yeah, well, bear in mind, Mike, he had to. In these shoots back in the 80s, if you were told to keep the blood or the prosthetic mask on your face during breaks, you have to do what the director tells you.
They might have it set in place of some sort of adhesive so it doesn't move, so you're running around.
Yeah, so if a director tells you back then to do this, you do it.
What's for lunch? You're getting a cup of soup.
Yeah.
It's a straw.
There will be moments where you have to still wear the mask or the prosthetics on your face or stuff like that. There is no negotiation because you ever have to. There was even one story I read somewhere where when they did the Sleepaway Camp movie, the sequels, one girl had to wear special leeches on her face, and she had to wear that even overnight. Meaning she had to wear it, when she's asleep.
No, they weren't real leeches.
They're not real leeches. They make up a silicone, whatever. But she was told by the director to wear it and keep it on until they actually filmed the rest of the scenes.
Yeah,
no argument, no excuses, no.
We're on a skinny budget.
And no comfort for the actors.
One set of leeches, that's it. No.
It's probably one of the reasons why actors retired back then, when you think about it. Some of the young actors from the 80s, they either gave up acting when it came close to the 90s and started, doing some other stuff, like maybe going off to college to actually pursue something else. Before they actually go on to mainstream stuff, like most other actors went on to mainstream.
Some kid actors get dragged into it because maybe they think it's going to be fun and they realise it's too much like hard work, or maybe the parents force them into it and they don't want to do it, and they end up getting good education, getting a real job, like the guy out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Didn't he become a vet?
Yeah, he went on to become a vet with cattle and stuff.
Yeah,
and while people have pestered him for interviews here and there, he still rather say no comment. He doesn't want to be interviewed.
Yeah.
He has his rights to his own privacy. If he doesn't want to relive the story over and over, that's his decision.
But a lot of people don't like being in front of the camera either.
That's true.
They'd rather be behind it or out of the industry altogether. Like you look at Ronnie Howard. He was in the Andy Griffith Show. He was in American Graffiti. He was in Happy Days. And then he dropped off the planet acting-wise and went behind scenes doing producing and directing.
Yeah, it is amazing that how many of actors in the 70s and the 80s have continued their careers after, for so long. I mean, others would have given up because they either don't get as many roles when they get to their 30s or older, and they drop off the planet, or they pursue either higher roles like in the industry, like maybe become a producer or director, or others may just I may want to go off to university and study something else.
Well, but Seth out of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He does robot chicken.
Oh, yes, he did.
I
don't know whether he's still doing that.
I think it's still going. I think it is.
Yeah. Anyway, that's about it from us, guys. We're only rambling on as per
I like
usual.
rambling.
So
really good.
Be sure to check out The Terror Train.
No, this is a good one.
This is a good one.
It's not the best movie, but it's a good movie. Good movie.
Yeah. And I'll be sure to put the link at the bottom where it's on Tubby, so you can actually view it for free.
Well, there you go. Isn't that lovely? She's nice girl, isn't she?
Well, it's on their site. They offer free movies and free TV series, and any other things that you may think that you may wish to view there. So, anyway, guys, thanks for listening to our latest podcast, everyone. And be sure to check out our rest of our other podcast episodes as we go along. I really appreciate your support in actually watching those, because that's how we keep ourselves going and keep ourselves interested in movies.
Oh, you going to tell everybody about your Attack the Cat People now is on YouTube?
Oh, yeah, by the way, guys, you may have noticed that I released Attack the Cat People onto
YouTube, is it?
On YouTube at the moment, so you guys can feel free to check it out
and give your critique and come back and say how wonderful you think it is.
Of course, unlike most reviewers, I'm not going to review this one because I don't want to be the person saying, "Oh, it's wonderful." Yeah. I mean, saying that would be self-serving, and I don't do self-serving.
However, doesn't Ollie do it?
Yeah, Ollie Buckley did an awesome job with our review.
Yeah,
on it.
And
Dr. Dredd, and let me see.
And Bobby Gamonster, he hosted it, horror hosted it.
Yeah, they're great guys.
Yeah, but it's been around. Yeah.
Well, we make good. We have a good relationship going, as professional wise.
And Joshua Kenny likes it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he actually likes it. He gave me a thumbs up.
Hey, good on you, Joshua.
Yeah, anyway, that's about it from us, guys. And be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments what you guys think of Terror Train. And we'll see you guys next time. We'll be sure to review both the remake and the sequel, and let us know. We'll let you know what our thoughts on those two movies too. Okay.
Exactly. Keep it separate.
Thanks for listening to us. This is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls. Bye for now.
Bye.